Yeah, somehow I just never learn. In the back of the schoolyard, where we used to play hide and seek.
Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, I'm Meffan. I'm a yoga teacher and a wellness blogger, YouTuber, all of those things. And I'm here today to chat to you about crystals. So I've been asked for this video over and over again on my Instagram, which I'll link to here if you want to come follow me. And I've been meaning to film it for so long. So I'm really excited that I finally got the time to do it for you. So I'm going to be talking about crystals. And the way in which I use them, my kind of like past with them, how I got into crystals, what I use them for, the way that you would cleanse them, charge them, and then I'll be talking about specific crystals, or at least the ones that I use mostly. So to give you a little bit of a background, my family, my dad is a goldsmith, and so I've been brought up with crystals, gemstones, and that kind of thing for many, many years. So my love of crystals actually started way before I even knew that they had healing properties, or that, you would meditate with them, or that they had anything to do with yoga and spirituality. I just really, really loved them because I was in awe of the fact that this beauty, this insane beauty, like just is growing beneath us, depending on where you are in the world. And I guess it just blew my mind from such a young age, and I found it quite mesmerizing that this happens, that these beautiful, stunning colors and crystals are created on this earth. And I'm very, very grateful that they are, because I find them incredible to look at, to feel, and obviously then since I kind of got older and went into this yoga journey, I then discovered that there was so much more to them than them just looking lovely. So, in my home when we were growing up, there's always been this big, beautiful amethyst rock, and at my dad's shop there was this beautiful tourmaline, and there was a smoky quartz, and there were all these gorgeous crystals and gemstones, and I was just like, oh, they look so cool. And now I'm like, oh, like they look beautiful, but also like they have these qualities. Now I'll be totally honest as well in the way in which I use them. Sometimes I'll get really into my crystals, but I wouldn't say that I'm ritualistic with my crystals. I don't use them all the time. So around my house, I'll always have them, and I'll cleanse a space. So like when I moved into this flat, I cleansed it with sage before putting my crystals out. I also cleaned all my crystals and charged them and then put them out. So you can see actually behind up there, that's my big, beautiful amethyst that was actually gifted to me by my parents for my 30th birthday. I'm totally in love with it and in awe of it. It's so amazing. And there's a few more up there. And then I've got my little triangle holder, which I'm going to show you. So some of the crystals I've got are purely for kind of like aesthetics. So behind me on my bookshelf, I have two bookends made of blue agate, which I love, but they're not something that I use for any kind of healing or anything like that. Same with my big crystal. I don't kind of like get that out and hug it onto my chest and hope that it does wonderful things to me. I have smaller crystals for that kind of thing, which I will be showing to you. So in terms of cleaning and cleansing crystals and charging them, so it is said that in order for you to work with a crystal and to benefit from its healing properties, we need to clean and charge our crystals. And now cleaning crystals is just water. If you are by the ocean, then I recommend that you clean your crystal in the ocean, because it's getting all of that Mother Nature goodness. And then charging it is just to sit it out in the sun and allow those solar beams to just kind of charge it up, dry it up, and then you can place it wherever you want to place it. I don't do this every single time I use them, but I do try to do it regularly enough so they're not kind of staying stagnant. It's entirely up to you. I'm sure you could find like a bit more of like an in-depth guide as to the exact kind of like times that you're meant to do them. But yeah, the one thing I would say is that depending on what your crystal's like, so here, for example, I've got two citrines, but as you can see, they are very, very different types of citrine. So here I have got a smooth little boulder citrine, and here I've actually got rock crystal. Now with this one, when I'm cleaning it, this is going to be super easy to clean. I can just rub it and there's no kind of little bits for it to get into. This one, there's going to be like dust and dirt that kind of gets stuck in between the facets. So when I want to get in between those facets, so you could get a little toothbrush and just give it a soft little gentle polish up, and then it will be kind of like nice and clean. So that's the way in which I would clean, cleanse, charge my crystals. And then when it comes to actually using them, the way in which I would use them would be for a meditation. So depending on how I'm feeling, maybe it will relate to a chakra, and I'll go on to kind of talk about specific crystals in a moment. But I will maybe I'll be laying down and I will take, for example, where are you? My little piece of rose quartz. And if I'm feeling something to do with my heart chakra, I will sit or lay with my rose quartz on me, or I could just hold it between my palms and place it at my heart center, or I could just have it down on the floor next to me. It's entirely up to you as to how far you want to go with this, but kind of go into it with an open mind. The moment that you're like, oh, my crystal's pretty, but it's not going to do anything, then of course your kind of resistance is up. You've already put your barriers up, so you're not going to be open to feeling anything. And I'm not saying that, instantly you're going to like hold this rose quartz to your chest and suddenly you're going to fall in love with somebody that walks past you, because rose quartz is all about kind of like love. But it's on a subtle level. It's the subtle energy that these crystals are working with. And if you have a crystal with you anywhere in your room right now, just go grab it. And if you close your eyes and sit with your crystal in your hand and just rub it, take a moment just to feel it. It's really important as well to really appreciate and honor the crystal. That probably sounds silly, but the more tuned in we are to our crystal, the more our crystal is going to work for us. Just picking up someone else's crystal and kind of shoving it down next to you and meditating, it's going to do a lot less than if you know that it's your crystal that you work with and it's kind of like really connected to you. But see if you can just start to feel with your crystal. Just move the hand. Super soft. And certain crystals have higher vibrations than others. All the crystals that I'm working with, pretty much all quite high vibrational levels. But if you sit for a moment, see if you can start to feel that energy. And it takes a while. You might need, after this video, to sit with it for kind of like 5 minutes or so, and just see if you can feel this kind of like really subtle pulsating energy just on the outside edge. It's kind of like the aura of the crystal, just on the outside edge of it. So that's kind of like how I work with them. And then my choice of crystal is dependent on kind of like how I'm feeling, or maybe I just go to it because I'm drawn to it. The other thing I want to touch upon before moving into specific crystals is how to go about purchasing and buying crystals. Now, like I said, I'm quite lucky because I've kind of come from that background, and I've kind of known suppliers and people with crystal people for a while. But no matter where you are, you'll probably, if you Google kind of crystal shop, you'll probably find one in most sort of towns and cities. There'll be some quirky little shop and you can go and have a rummage around. it's said that crystals are better when they are gifted to you from one person to another. So that's something that you might want to take into consideration when buying a present for someone. You know, have a look into kind of like them and what it is that you think that they might kind of be needing to draw in and to call in, and then pick a crystal for them. And then the other way, I tend to buy crystals when I'm traveling, because I like my crystals to kind of come from different places. This Smoky Quartz is from Switzerland, which I love, and my rose quartz is actually a gift from a friend. So there's kind of all different ways in which you can get them. But if you do go to a shop, kind of just take a moment. Don't go in kind of like too quick. Take a moment to fill the space, walk around, and then just see where you're drawn to. A lot of the time as well, crystals will have in shops, they'll have kind of a little sign that sort of says their healing properties, and maybe it's that draws you in. You're like, oh, actually that's kind of like what I need right now, that's what I'm going for. So that's kind of how to, I guess, shop for crystals. Now, moving into the different crystals and what their healing properties are, I'm gonna kind of like talk, I'm not gonna go kind of like too in depth on this. I'm gonna talk kind of like the top layer properties. And I think that the ones that I talk about will be ones that if you kind of haven't started your crystal journey yet, these are gonna maybe be the ones that you wanna kind of maybe start with. Okay. So we're going to start with quartz. Now there's different types of quartz. You've got your clear quartz, this little guy. You've got your smoky quartz, this big one, and you've got rose quartz. There are also a few other types of quartz, but these are the three that I have. Now your clear quartz, the reason I've started with quartz is kind of like your all-rounder crystal. It's going to be the one that is kind of harmonizing and aligning for everything. So if there's kind of one, if you're ever going to own just one crystal, I'd probably go for it being quartz. And you find a lot of the time that people tend to wear like quartz on necklaces and stuff like that, because it is such an all-rounder. And clear quartz is, like I say, the one for that harmonizing feeling. So the idea being is that it's able to kind of protect you from negative energy and attune you to your positive energy to bring you into your own personal power. Rose quartz, like I mentioned, all about love, and this is the one that's going to relate to the heart chakra the most. So if you're feeling for a meditation with the heart chakra, then rose quartz is where you're going to want to be. And it's all about love, and not just romantically, but love for your friends, love for your family, love for yourself, compassion and forgiveness. It's all about that. And rose quartz has this really beautiful, calming and soothing energy. So for me, if I've got kind of like quite high anxiety, even though a lot of people will go to amethyst, and we'll talk about amethyst next because it is amazing, I actually tend to also go for rose quartz because it brings me into that kind of like soothing place of self-love, of kind of like feeling like I am enough. And then smoky quartz, this is one of my faves. It's actually quite clear at the bottom, but then it gets smoky up the top. Smoky quartz is really grounding. So it's a very earthing crystal. So if you're working with the root chakra, with Muladhara, then this is going to be the one for you. You're going to want to work on connecting with Mother Nature, getting really grounded, getting really stable. That's going to be your smoky quartz. And it's really, really great as well because it's quartz at kind of like battling and protecting against that negative energy and helping it shift and transform into something lighter and more positive. So that's that one there. Can you see how beautiful it is? That's your smoky quartz right there. So moving on to amethyst, you can see I've got my big amethyst rock up there, but this one is actually a really, really pale amethyst, but I think it's beautiful. I'm gonna let you see that a little bit closer. Is that gonna focus? There you go. Hopefully that's focusing on the stone and not my face. But yeah, really, really beautiful, very pale amethyst. So amethyst is a really, really nice neutralizer and cleansing crystal. Again, one for, so as well, amethyst is one of the most popular ones, as well as quartz, because it is a bit of an all-rounder, really soothing. And amethyst is said to be one of the best for mood swings. Hi. We all get those. Mood swings, that kind of really low, kind of like that sadness kind of energy, and also kind of uplifting us when we're feeling anxious and stressed. So amethyst is great for stress, it's a stress reliever. So if that's where you're feeling for and what you're needing to go to, then sitting with some amethyst is a really great one to work with. And depending on your color of amethyst, so both your kind of like upper chakras here. So we've got your third eye and then the crown chakra. So the third eye is this kind of like deep purple color, and then your crown is this kind of like ultra violet white, which actually this one would be kind of perfect for, but it's all about that connection to higher power and your wisdom and your intuition. So that's kind of another way in which to work with your amethyst, is to relate it to your chakras when you are working with meditation or pranayama, breath work, whatever it is that you are working with. And there's nothing to say that you can't have your crystals around you while you practice your yoga, but try to kind of pick a crystal. When you're working with crystals, pick a crystal for a practice and stay with that one. There's kind of not really much point in being like, right, I need to not feel stressed, I need good fortune, and I need love. Meditate, meditate, meditate. It doesn't really work like that. You need to kind of just really hone in on one and be really present with that one crystal. So this is the part of the video where I start saying that every single one is my favorite, because, oh, my lapis. When I got this piece of lapis, I was like the happiest person, and I carried it home. I actually got it from a supplier I know in London, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see the flecks in that. It is one of the most stunning bits of lapis I have ever seen. But those little flecks of gold, so beautiful, and that rich, rich color, and it's smooth. Like I sit with this, and it's such a weird thing to do, but just brush it against my cheek. That, by the way, isn't a healing thing. That's just a me kind of weird thing where I'm like, oh, it's so smooth and lovely. So this is lapis lazuli. Lapis kind of has these kind of two things going on with it. The blue and the color of lapis really relates to the throat chakra. So that's our speaking out and speaking our truth and our authenticity. And it is amazing for that. So if you're feeling stuck in this area, the lapis is a really, really great one to go to. But it's also the stone of being able to be with different people in different situations and being able to adapt, which is why lapis is a great gift if someone is going traveling and they're going to be going from country to country to new culture to new culture. It's all about adaptation and being able to put yourself in new scenarios. So it's actually the stone that I bought for my boyfriend when we were away in Australia last year, and I was coming back to the UK, and he was kind of like going on for a bit. And so I actually gifted him with a piece of lapis to take with him as kind of, you know, his symbolizing and his symbolization of kind of being able just to adapt to new situations and to, feel into that place of being yourself and your truth, but in a new place. So that is why and where I would use lapis. Okay, citrine. I've already shown you these two different ones. Look at that beauty. That is an amazing piece of citrine. And then the little smooth, bolder citrine, which is lovely. So citrine is the kind of, so it's known as kind of the stone of good fortune. And a lot of people relate that to money instantly. Citrine does not mean that you're going to be rich. Sorry. But it is the stone to use for manifesting. So if there is something that you want to call into your life, something that you want to draw in and create, citrine is the stone to work with. Citrine is the stone to work with when you're, writing down your dreams and your goals and you're manifesting something good to come into your life. This is the one for you. It is also related to Manipura because of its colour, and I suppose, well, no, because it is mainly an orangey colour. So your personal power and your self-belief, and you can see how those two are linked. You're thinking of good fortune and manifesting things into your life. And in order to do those things, you need to have the personal power and the self-belief and the confidence to see those things through. So that is what citrine brings to you. So the other stone I want to touch upon is jade. I don't actually have my jade crystal with me. It's back in my old house, but I do actually have a jade pendant from my great-great-grandma. Oh no, my great-great-grandma, I think, which is beautiful, which I wear. So jade is one that is actually really, really prominent in the Chinese culture. And it's basically one of the main ancient stones that they would use for its healing properties and just general healing and love as well. And so that is why kind of jade became so famous for its healing properties, is because when you think about that Chinese culture, so many beautiful carvings are made from jade. A lot of them wear jade a lot, or at least they did. And so it's come from this really beautiful place of this belief that it can bring you into a place of love and healing and protection. And as well as that, the thing I love about jade is it's a really beautiful thing around friendship. So a lot of the time it would be gifted from one person to another, or you would wear something similar between two friends. So jade is a beautiful stone for bringing in good energy within a friendship. And then the last one that I want to chat to you about is labradorite. Now, look at that. So this piece is actually was a gift for my 30th birthday from my good friend Carly Rowena. She gave me this piece, and I just, every time the way the light hits it, so good. And so this stone, it's called the Stone of Transformation. So not only does it help you through a transformation, but what it's actually said to do is help you with that strength and the perseverance that you need for a transformation. So that could be anything. It could be maybe like a new job, or a new partner, or coming out of an old relationship, or moving home, whatever it is. This is the stone if you're kind of shifting between two big things in your life and you're transforming from kind of, you're shedding layers of an old you and transforming into a new you. You know what I mean by that. So yeah, labradorite would be the stone for that. So yeah, we've chatted crystals for quite a while. I really hope that you found that useful. Trying to think if I have any others that I can talk to you about. But I think that they're really the main ones. They're the kind of ones for me that I have used for a number of years, and that I'll always keep using. There are so many others. I recommend, if crystals are something you're interested in, there are so many crystal encyclopedias, which are amazing, and they just kind of like give you, kind of like how I've done, a top line overview of them, and you can get ones that are more in depth. But if you are interested in working with crystals in your meditation, then I do recommend that you get something like that, and it's just like a little book that you can refer to every time where you pick up a crystal, because you might find that you kind of, maybe you've got crystals around the house, and then one day you're like just drawn to one in particular, but you don't quite know what it's kind of there for, what its healing properties are there for, so you can always refer back to a book. That's it from me. I hope that you found that interesting. It hasn't been too much of me just kind of like chatting to you at the camera, but you know, I just wanted to talk them through with you. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you again in the video very soon. Bye bye.